So today we have Sweta Desai from Ahmedabad, India. Although she
Hello.
works online as a global worker, a healer, and more than introducing her and her specialities, I would surely like the work to speak as usual, but still I would like to give a little bit introduction about her. And that is that she's a Reiki master, a tarot card reader. She's an energy cleanser and a lost soul and entity connector and remover. And apart from that, she also conducts salt lamp meditations. And somewhere she still holds a beautiful hobby of putting crystals into aromatic oils. And she senses your energies, and accordingly, she will provide you with that aroma oil with crystals or the crystals alone. And this also, she does it clairvoyantly. So she need not be present with you, around you in a physical manner. She can just visit you energetically and still know a lot of things about you. And that is how she has been helping so many of her clients, not just in Ahmedabad, but all over worldwide. Um, Having said this, today's session is specifically about her work with energies. And you can call it entities, lost souls, low vibrational energies, or energies which somewhere are lost on their own and need help. And she clears it from people, spaces, and things. So, more than me talking now, I would like the session to be going on to her. So, Shweta, how would you like to begin with? Because I have a list of questions already ready, but still, now I want you to speak something about.
Well, thank you, Radhika, for a wonderful introduction. Um, Absolutely, we can. Like I've been in this field for many years since I was a child. Since I was 8 years old, that's when I started to see spirits, and I didn't have any sense onto how to deal with them and what was on the other side of the world. But slowly, with all the understanding and the knowledge that I kept getting from the souls from the other side of the world, it broadened my perspective onto how beautiful that part of the world also is and how beautiful it works uh, parallel to us. So it coincides with our dimension, and yet it's a different dimension we are talking about. And it's a wonderful experience knowing every case that I come across is so unique in its own self, and every case teaches you something new. Because people are, when they die, when they step out of this uniform that I call human body, once they're out of that body, they are in the most enlightened form. Even if they are lost, they are still in the enlightened form, uh, not knowing the purpose of their journey. So that's where my part comes in. That's where I step in to help them out and figure out the ways to overcome that emotion which they are so attached to, and eventually find enlightenment, or the light that they call. And once they step into that light, then there is no u-turn. There's no way back. So once they step into that light, and then that's it, they are either going forward towards the enlightenment if they're karmically leveled up, or they go to a different womb, selecting their own journey and their own learnings for the next life. So once they are in that light, they have many tasks that they could choose, either in spiritual form as a guide, or in physical form as humans, or any other forms, based on the experience that they want to have. So once they're out of that light, there is no way we can communicate with them. But it's amazing how they keep giving you visions every now and then, just to make you understand how this whole cycle works karmically, and how we live different lives just to overcome that karma that we have created and balance it at the end of the day.
Wonderful. When you actually put it this way, um, I just remember a lot of people who, when the minute we use the word entity, lost souls, lower vibrational energies, the emotion which comes up is fear. The
Right.
dreadful looks or appearances which sometimes people see in visions. And
Very
you have put it as though they are such beautiful beings,
absolutely.
regardless of their darkness, their lower vibrational state, or probably their appearances, which might, scare a lot of humans on Earth. So that was something catchy, which I felt you just said about.
We
Now,
humans have always been scared of things that we can't see or we can't understand, where there's no logic to it. Whereas the reality is that part of the world is far more enlightened and far more better than us humans, because we humans can actually harm others. The souls cannot. Even if they are dark, there's the reason behind the darkness. It's not they're doing it consciously. Whereas we humans do things on a conscious level, which is quite hurtful, quite negative, and quite like hurtful on different levels, of course, emotions and physical level, and sometimes even on spiritual levels. So,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. When you put it that ways, it's really, really uh, alarming, shocking, but not surprising for me because somewhere the same kind of information came to me as well. That when it comes to harming humans, it's more the nature of humans, which goes into such a vibrational state that it can cause more harm to us as humans.
Absolutely.
So, my questions, the list of questions, the first one is how many cases have you come across where such lower vibrational energies, usually mostly not in human form, are attached to a place, thing, or person?
I've been experiencing that since past at least 20-25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've walked into this journey, I've noticed those things happening on a very frequent basis. Of course, as we are approaching this era, which is Kali Yuga, things are coming up front more often than it used to before. So I feel the energies before were much more calmer, even though they were negative, but they were still in certain calmness. And now, as we grow into this era, more intense energies appears upfront on the above the baseline, and these energies have shown their traces in different forms. um, they like there are so many places that they've taken over, which we call haunted places, which is quite a wrong term. Nothing is haunted. We humans are more haunted than the souls, as I just explained. So so these places that they take over because of their there are a lot of reasons behind. They attach their energies to they try to possess different human bodies so that they can get their task done.
Mm.
Uh, try to get attached to certain souls out of different emotions and get their work done and feel that emotions. So there are a lot of reasons that are involved in here. It's not just one specific reason. There could be hundreds of reasons why they are
So
stuck
it
to.
brings to my next question, which you are about to answer, I hope. What are the reasons they latch onto a person and what thing or place, and how do they choose these hosts? So, what is the most common reason, is how I can now put it, because there are umpteen reasons, as you said. So, what's the most common reason why they would choose a host?
Um, Firstly, I think they latch onto those energies that is already weak, because then it's easier to work on them
Weak
and
in
get
the sense?
where the aura is weak, where the energies of human body is weak. Uh, that's when it's easier for them to latch onto those energies, because then they don't have to work hard getting into that space of their protective aura, because it's already too weak to be protected. So it becomes it easier to latch onto such energies. It becomes easier to latch onto the energies in the places which is far more darker, where there's absolutely no flow of energies, like closed rooms, corners of the rooms. Sometimes the ancient like places, like where ancient civilizations happened at one point, and all those places that we call khandar areas.
Yeah.
Those kind of places where are the places where all these energies get trapped.
The
because they
abandoned buildings?
exactly, yes, the
Okay.
abandoned buildings as well, because these are the places where they're not interfered by humans, so it becomes easier for them to be in that space and consider that space as their own. So that is why I always tell people to, no matter what, if you're living in a house, make sure you're leaving your doors and windows open at least once a day to let the energies flow. Because those stuck energies will eventually cause troubles into your life over a period of time. And you don't want those kind of energies being stuck in your home, no matter how bad situation they may be in. Yet that creates a lot of issues in your life as well.
Okay. So, a continued question to this. How does the aura get weak of a human?
So I think the perfect example was COVID, the recent example that we all can relate to, where you know how we get feared by all these things that we hear on social media and the news channels and the newspapers and people around us and the doctors saying, you know, it's infectious. If you get in connection with those people who are already having COVID, you'll get infected by them, and then you know it eventually ends up killing you. Whereas the reality is, this fear itself has caused so much of uh, negative immunity in us that it has lowered our immunity to such an extent that
Yes.
our immunity have gotten so weak. I'm talking about spirituality. Physicality is a different part altogether. When it comes to spiritual energies, we talk about aura, chakras, and those things. Uh, those things are the baseline of the physicality. So it starts affecting you spiritually, where you reduce your immunity, which is your aura, and you make it much weaker than it already is because
Right.
of the because of all the negative emotions we keep holding on to. That really makes our world so dark. So all those negative emotions like fear, guilt, frustration, stress, anger, and many more, all those things creates our aura. It helps create our aura weaker. So it's best, you know, we stay positive during that times, because if I remember, a lot of healers like you, me, and many other healers that we've come across, we have, during COVID, we have stepped out of our homes, went to those hospitals where people were infected with no mask on, and yet we have been able to heal them, and yet we weren't harmed by it. It's because our aura is way too strong for anything to hurt us, because
And
we
fear
understand
is
this.
the underlined word. Fear, and it immediately lowers our vibrations. The fear.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's the same thing that also happened during earthquake in 2001, around that time, where people were so scared that a lot of people ended up losing their lives just out of fear.
True.
So with every calamity that we come through, with every man-made calamities also that we come across in today's life, has created so much fear into people's life that they are overwhelmed by this fear, unable to get a way out of it,
Right.
which we weakens their aura to such a level that even the littlest virus can harm them easily.
Got it. So this is one of the factors, which is like the current life, a lot of instances, a lot of emotions, a lot of situations around can actually lower our own vibrational states for these lower vibrational energies to latch onto us. But since I have been talking with you, you have also said that several of these energies, these entities, can also latch on to a person for lifetimes. Now,
Yes.
how is this a case? How does this
So
happen?
what happens is, you know how there's a positive energy, we call them the guides, the angels,
Mhm.
who are with us since we are born until we die, and they are with us through many lives. It's likewise, because the earth is balanced, the universe is balanced on positive and negative. Likewise, there are also negative energies that are lashed onto us, who are sucking our energies and making those things happen just to balance the universe. We may take it negatively, whereas
Mhm.
the reality, the earth is balanced on these things, so it has to happen for things to be balanced. So we take it very negatively, as in, why do these energies have to latch onto us for lifetimes? But like the guiding angels are also latched onto us for lifetimes, so are these negative energies. But sometimes these energies consume you to an extent where things actually start to fall apart, and that is when you need to turn your aura more positive and more stronger, and let go of these energies.
So, um, obviously, everyone cannot have a person who can actually connect to such energies and work on them. That will be my final question, obviously, coming to you, because I don't know why that question is coming right now itself, but I'll ask that question maybe towards the end.
Mhm.
First, let me go with the flow of our conversation.
Sure.
Um, are you always successful in detaching these energies from their host or place or thing?
As far as talking about my personal experiences, I'm a kind of a person who doesn't give up on things easily. So for me, this is more of a challenge than than a case. So I don't take cases as in, oh, I've got a client, I got to finish up with this case. I don't take it as a case. I take it as a challenge, because every time I take it as a challenge, it gives me a new perspective to the other side of the world, and it teaches me a lot more things than I already know. So what happens is, when I come across these kind of scenarios, I there are times when I've come across certain scenarios where I've actually ended up losing my energies to such an extent, where I've had 21 days of periods, and a lot of hair fall, and under eyes, and my skin have gotten tanned because of this work that I'm in, because of the fluctuation that I'm dealing with. But thankfully, till date, I've never had a chance to give up on anything. I've never had a feeling to leave those things behind halfway. I've always been a person who wants to give it all. So even if it consumes the last bit of energy that's in me, I won't give up that easily. And thankfully, to all the higher sources, that I've never had to give up on things, because they were always there when I was almost on the verge of losing my own self in that whole process. And they've given me that energy, is they've protected me enough to make me come out of it and help finish the case completely. So thanks to all the higher sources, thanks to a lot of guides that are helping me in different cases and scenarios. Yeah.
Honestly, that kind of work is commendable, such dedication. If every healer on earth has such dedication, and every healer on earth, I'm not talking from the perspective of education, knowledge, or the courses they do. I believe that every person has a healer within them. So once activated, every healer on earth, if they work with that dedication, my God, the energies which can then flow would be so beautiful.
I think
Uh, yeah.
then we'll be looking at the Satyug again.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah. So you also somewhere answered that you come to know that the energies you work with, the work is complete. Um, you ensure that complete work is done. Okay. Now, my question is, where do these energies eventually go when they leave the space? You already talked about light, right? But is it that they eventually it's only the light they enter, or they have the ability to also disperse to other places, or you ensure that they enter the light? How is the journey when you work on?
Um, Now there are two sides to this. A lot of times, of course, I want to make sure they've gotten into the light so that they can move forward to their journey.
Right.
But there are souls who chooses not to move forward and choose the negative, the darker part of this world. And of course, it's uh, their prerogative when it comes to choosing what they want. A lot of times, I've also come across certain souls that are captivated by uh, darker energies who are on the other side of the world as well. So they are too feared to go into the light because they are being scared by those dark energies. We call them shadows. So
Okay.
those dark are just how we have the positive energies that are in form of Shiva and Krishna and Vishnu and like different forms. There are also different forms forms of dark energies that are ruling right between us.
So are you talking
So
about other planetary beings or something like that?
absolutely, I'm talking universally, not just our planet. I'm talking about every planet that's on in this universe and different universes. So what we've experienced is there are these things that we call shadows. They are so dark,
How
who
did they
eventually,
become this dark?
just the way we have lords, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, like Vishnu and Lord Brahma and Shiva. It's the same way. There is also the negative side to it. That is how things are balanced, right?
Yeah, the
So
yin and the yang, and obviously the light and the dark. But
yeah. So
I mean,
after
what?
death, how we are in present in a physical world. We get to choose if we want to take, if you want our work to be done through dark, like the black magic, or through the white light. It's the same way, even after death, they get to choose whether they want to approach the dark side of the world or enlighten themselves and move into the white light.
Right,
So the choices are theirs. They get to choose what they want based on the experiences, based on the emotions that they've gotten through during their last moments, based on the thoughts that they were in at the last moment. They get to decide as to what actually they want to do. Because even us, including us, at one point we've also chosen that part to understand what the world is basically settled on.
hmm.
So I guess everyone also goes through that part at one point in their lives, in their journey.
Do you deal with shadows as well? Do they enter the earth's field and the humans?
Absolutely, but those are too difficult to deal with. They are mostly those energies that I try not to get too deep into because I know that they can really hurt you.
Hmm.
When I say hurt you, it means I'm talking about they can really ruin your chakras and aura, and they can take you to the level where how we in physical world we call them insane. Then you lose that thoughts, you lose that logic, you lose the sanity, and you go insane.
Is there a way to actually work on them and let go, even as healers, of the fear of working on them and somewhere see them as also really stuck because they do not know anything but the darkness now, being the shadow? Is there a way to actually even try to bring light towards them if they cannot be
uh,
part of the light?
they cannot be part of that light. They are meant to be dark to
Okay,
keep the, again, everything ends up under the same concept of balancing the earth.
right.
As much of positivity as much of negativity, that's how things are going to balance. So if things start to turn more positive, the earth will lose its field of negativity, and then it'll lose its field of this understanding that we are in at the moment. See, we can't appreciate the good things without bad things happening to us. We can't appreciate the light without the darkness. It's the same thing. They are meant to be there.
So the question again, can they actually harm humans?
They can, yes. They can harm humans not on physical level, but definitely on the chakra and the aura level. On the soul level, of course. And when they start harming you on the soul level, like possessions and stuff like that, eventually it comes to a physicality where you end up losing your lives too. So their intentions are not to harm you on physical level mainly, but they'll target your chakras and aura.
How much influence do they have on Earth's population? Any idea of the percentage?
Nowadays, when I look at it, looking at the cases that I keep getting every now and then, I think quite a bit. I'd say almost 35%,
You're
which is
talking
quite a huge.
about globally. I would like to know in terms of East and the West, where do you see the percentages high?
It's getting higher when it comes to the west part of the world than the east. And the reason why it's that is because, not because I'm Indian, but because I've seen annuities in India where people have this such a strong belief system into God, where they fear doing anything negative. So they'll keep these belief keeps the energies intact, keeps the energies growing positive,
Hmm.
and keep vibrations uh, beautiful and positive. We have so many saints in here who are constantly working on keeping those energies intact. We have so many people's belief system that works so beautifully towards making the vibrations more positive. We have so many medicinal plants. We have so many uh, so many healers in India who are working on homeopathy, the energies that we've created in India by all the saints that we have who have been living for ages, by all those belief system that people in India have towards gods and goddesses, uh, by all the mantras and tantras that we keep working on every single day in every household. There are prayers that happens every single day. So that belief system is so powerful that it makes those energies much more brighter and positive. So
Beautiful.
that is one of the reasons why it doesn't allow those energies to be doomed. Whereas on that part of the world, and again, there's there's nothing to get defensive about, but that part of the world that I've already lived in, Canada and US, I've seen the energies go really down over a period of time, and people are getting more depressed. People are getting more isolated. That is not us humans. Humans are not meant to be isolated. That's
Yeah.
more of a punishment, and no human deserves that kind of energies to be surrounded by. But it's very unfortunate that people are struggling over there. People are going through a lot of ups and downs in their lives, not getting an answer to what is happening to them. The riches are getting much richer, the poor are getting way too poor, and there's a lot of disturbances happening on a very deeper level and on a very intense level. And
Absolutely.
it's very sad to see those things happening in that part of the world. I wish everyone could experience the vibe that I'm talking about in India, uh, and compare it for themselves as to what I'm trying to say right now.
I would just say that a person who doesn't actually see the difference between two energies flowing, like one who has been a part of India and some other countries which has been more balanced, and then coming down to the West, that is when you know the real difference of energies, whether it's low or high.
Exactly.
Living in the West
Very true.
and only being there, you can't know the difference of it. So a lot of people over
Exactly.
here seems to be blind to all those shifts in energies and knowing that they are even in a lower functioning or vibrational state. Which also brings me to
Very
the question, since everyone cannot have a healer who is working on the energies and everything, are there certain methods which humans can do to get rid of these energies or to bring themselves into higher vibrational states and to ensure that if they have been latched onto by some or the other lower vibrational energies, they can do something about it, at least temporary basis, and somewhere shift their life to betterment? Is this something which humans can do?
Now, see, the question that you asked have two sides to it. Firstly, there are people who are not even aware that these things do exist. They have absolutely no knowledge on this side of the world. So they are completely lost throughout their lives trying to understand why things are happening to them, with whatever that is happening. So that lack of knowledge is there. That lack of understanding of this part of the world is there. So big chunk of people are part of that who have absolutely no idea what is happening to them, because this is not easily explainable or understandable. So that is one side. For the other side, who understands this part of the world even a little bit, who wants to understand, people who are on the path of at least gaining certain knowledge to the side of the world, the best thing that they can do is use saltwater showers on regular basis. They can have lavender teas, chamomile tea on regular basis, because that also helps you spiritually. They can do the grounding work, which is very important, which I would prescribe everyone as a medicine. Grounding is a must in today's world, because the more grounding you're in, the more protected you are.
What about
So
the
grounding is
countries which
something that
have
you can.
winters?
Grounding can be done at any point, like at any given place. It doesn't have to be out in
Grass.
snow. It doesn't have to be out on the lawn. It can still be done sitting at your home, even if you're on the 16th floor. It doesn't matter. It's still going to work as beautifully as it works on the lawn. So location really doesn't matter. You can easily connect to Mother Earth no matter where you're sitting. So it can easily be done. You can, sprinkle salt water all over your house every now and then. Once you have a crowd come to your house for a gathering or whatever, then that is a good thing to, once they've left, once the gathering is over, it's best you sprinkle salt water all over your place. Burning sage in your home can also help eliminate all those negative energies away from you and away from that space. So there are a lot of other things that you can also focus on, but these are the basic things that everyone must follow who understands this part of the world.
Beautiful. And the crystals also, as you said, the aroma oils also, which you actually provide with sensing energies. So
Absolutely,
I
yes.
I know that you do a lot of work at night, and it is going to be a tiring night for you already, and still you took off time for this chat and interview or whatever you call it. It was wonderful to know about a lot of things, and it's always a pleasure to know the other parts of the world, um, which usually I don't deal with. So it's always good to know from person who has experience about it. And I hope that you continue to work and help and heal a lot of people who need them, clairvoyantly, energetically, and by your presence. And blessings.
Thank you. There's one more thing I'd like to add to this thing before we close up. Uh, so, see, there are solutions, thankfully, there are solutions to everything that's happening around you. There are solutions to detaching your energies from the other entities. There are solutions to bringing your energies up and coming out of certain situations in a physical on a physical level. But there is only one thing that we can't fight against, is your karmic cycle. That is something that we don't put our hands into, because you have to go through what you've done before. So that is one thing that people have to understand, that no matter what we do, we are healers. We are not magical workers. So we don't do magic, we heal.